So in this video, I'm going to talk about the benefits of CRM. Well, actually, I'm going to do that in a sequence of videos. And today I'm going to focus on one aspect, which is contact management, which is probably the most basic benefit of CRM system and really goes back to the earliest times of the CRM industry, which I sort of, from my viewpoint, I see as starting in 1987 with the release of a product called ACT, and that was followed by not dissimilar products that you may be familiar with, like Boardman and Maximizer. And at that time, or prior to ACT coming out, if you were, say, a salesperson and you had a wide range of prospects and customers, lots of people that you're dealing with, it's quite hard to manage all of that. I mean, you could have things like a sort of a card Rolodex with a card for each of your contacts in there, or you might have a catalogue of business cards, or if you're less organised, a pile of business cards, or perhaps more technically sophisticated might have a spreadsheet. But there wasn't much in the way of technology to store information about your customers and prospects. And then along came the first generation of CRM systems. And firstly, what they allowed you to do, because they were a database, you could now start storing information about your contacts and how to get hold of them, contact numbers, and in due course, because probably email at that point wasn't massively prevalent, then their email address and mobile numbers and so on and so forth. You could have a categorization of them, so you could start to generate groups of different contacts, perhaps contacts in a particular industry or sector. And what the early CRM systems allowed you to do as well is record activities in the system. So if you'd had a meeting or had a phone call with somebody, you could put that as an activity record, create that as an activity record of the system. You could write up notes about that and record all the information you gathered in that call or interaction. And importantly, what it allowed you to do was also schedule future activities. So if in your meeting or phone conversation, the person said, "Look, Richard, love to buy from you. We just don't have budget at the moment. We're going to have budget available in January. If you give me a call in December, then we should be in a position to place some business with you." And what it allows you to do is schedule that call for December. And when you reach that day in December, that call will be presented in a call list, and it'll ping up with an alarm that you need to call such and such. And then you can go into the system and you can get all of the background, everything that you've written previously. You can make the call. Perhaps if they're not there, you can rapidly reschedule that for another stage. So just a really simple set of tools. But what it enabled salespeople to do was, remember to call people at the right time. In many cases, they weren't sort of neglecting or forgetting about customers and prospects. And when they did have that interaction, they were able to recycle the knowledge they gathered over time much more effectively and use that to bear. And what that meant at the end of the day was they ended up selling more and being more effective in what they were doing. Equally, because now they were managing complex manual systems, they were also a lot more productive. Now, there's also a sort of corporate dimension to all of this as well. As these systems become more prevalent and organizations want their employees to use CRM systems, then they get benefits from contact management as well, because perhaps they can see who's in the database, who's a customer, who's a prospect, who's responsible for them, who's dealing with them, what was the last interaction they had. There's that accumulated history there. Perhaps a salesperson leaves and somebody new comes in. They can sort of pick that information up without having to learn it all from the beginning. And perhaps also importantly, it starts to give metrics. Because we've got all these activity records being created in the system, now perhaps as an organization we can look at our different salespeople and work out who's the most industrious, what sort of volumes of activities are we getting by salespeople, and that allows people to manage the sales teams more effectively. So that's contact management. Now, contact management, I think also from a benefit perspective, quite interesting in that, unlike a lot of benefits of CRM technology, and we'll talk about these more in future episodes, it's not reliant on everybody using the system in a consistent and structured way, as are a lot of CRM benefits. Ultimately, if it makes one salesperson more effective, then you're going to get benefit. I often think for organizations who are struggling to see CRM technology adopted, sometimes you're better to say, right, look, those that want access to a CRM system, let us know, we'll get you a license. It's a tool set. The people that use it are going to be more effective. They're going to sell more, and that's a win-win for everybody. So that's contact management. It was one of the first benefits of CRM, and it's still as important and relevant today. In future episodes, I'll cover a range of other benefits that accrued as CRM was developed over time. Until next time, thank you very much.